Right now, while you're watching this, your brain is doing something you don't realize. It's calculating. Every few seconds, it's asking one question. Is this worth my attention? Or, is there something better? One swipe away, that calculation is happening right now, and if you felt scattered, unmotivated, or just empty after hours of scrolling, that's not laziness. That is dopamine. But not the way you've been told, because everything you think you know about dopamine is probably wrong, and that misunderstanding is quietly destroying your ability to feel motivated about anything that actually matters. Most people think dopamine is the pleasure chemical. You eat something delicious, dopamine. You get a like on your photo, dopamine. You feel good, dopamine. That's what everyone says. That's wrong. Dopamine is not the pleasure chemical. Dopamine is the wanting chemical. Here's the difference, and this changes everything. Dopamine doesn't spike when you get the reward. It spikes when you anticipate the reward. That's why you feel a rush of excitement before opening a gift, not after. That's why the first bite is better than the last. That's why scrolling feels more compelling than actually watching something. Every swipe might reveal something amazing. That uncertainty, that maybe, is what floods your brain with dopamine, not the reward, the hunt for it. Let me show you exactly what's happening inside your brain. Deep in your brain, there's a tiny region called the nucleus accumbens. Think of it as your brain's motivation engine. This engine runs on dopamine, and it has one job: to push you toward things that might help you survive. Food, connection, achievement, safety. In the ancient world, this system was perfect. You'd feel a pull toward finding food, you'd hunt, you'd eat, you'd survive. The dopamine spike during the hunt kept you moving. The satisfaction after kept you alive. But here's where it gets dark. Your ancient brain is now living in a world designed by teams of engineers and neuroscientists, whose entire job is to exploit exactly this system. Every notification, every infinite scroll, every autoplay. These aren't accidents. They're dopamine traps, engineered to keep your motivation engine running at maximum, for their benefit, not yours. Your brain isn't broken, it's being hacked. And here's what that hacking does over time. When your brain gets flooded with easy dopamine, scrolling, junk food, endless videos, it adapts. Scientists call this down regulation. Your dopamine receptors literally decrease in number. Imagine a volume dial on your brain's satisfaction system. Every easy dopamine hit slowly turns that dial down. Now, you need more stimulation to feel the same level of interest. The book that used to captivate you, boring. The workout that energized you, impossible. The project you cared about, pointless. You're not losing motivation, you're experiencing tolerance. Exactly, like any other drug. Here's what nobody tells you about this. The more dopamine hits you chase, the worse your baseline gets. And baseline is everything. Your dopamine baseline is the level your brain returns to between rewards. It's your default state of motivation. When your baseline is high, you wake up with energy. Work feels engaging. Small things feel satisfying. When your baseline is destroyed, nothing feels worth doing, unless it's intense and immediate. A low dopamine baseline feels like waking up already exhausted, needing your phone before you can face the day, feeling bored, even when nothing is wrong, starting things and never finishing them. Sound familiar? That's not depression. That's not a character flaw. That's a dopamine system that's been recalibrated by artificial stimulation. And here's the part that most people miss entirely. You can't fix this with more discipline. You can't white-knuckle your way out, because willpower runs on the same system that's been damaged. Trying to force motivation when your baseline is low is like trying to run on an empty tank and wondering why you're not moving. So, what actually works? The answer is uncomfortable, but it's the only thing backed by the science. You have to let your brain recalibrate, not forever, just long enough to reset the baseline. Think of your dopamine system like that volume dial. It's been cranked to maximum for so long that normal sounds like silence. A recalibration means turning the dial down, removing the artificial hyperstimulation, so your brain can rediscover what normal actually feels like. Here's what that looks like practically. Step 1. Identify your highest dopamine sources. Not what you enjoy most. What requires the least effort for the most stimulation. For most people, that's their phone. Specifically, short-form video, social media, or games. That's your target. Step 2. Create distance. Not forever, just temporarily. 3 days minimum, 7 days is where you start feeling it. 14 days is transformative. You're not quitting. You're creating a gap. Step 3, and this is critical, replace. Don't just remove. Your brain will not tolerate a vacuum. If you take away easy dopamine without replacing it, you'll collapse within hours. Replace scrolling with reading. Replace ordering food with cooking. Replace passive watching with walking. These feel boring at first. That's the point. Your brain is recalibrating what interesting actually means. Here's what happens on the other side. Around day 4 or 5, something shifts. The restlessness starts to fade. Your attention span begins to expand. Things that seemed dull start holding your focus. By day 7, you start feeling something you might not have felt in years. Genuine interest in real things, without forcing it. That's not motivation talk. That's your dopamine receptors upregulating, your brain becoming sensitive again to natural rewards. The satisfaction of finishing something, the calm after real focus, the energy after real movement. Here's the neuroscience behind why this matters long term. Every time you choose delayed satisfaction over instant stimulation, you're activating the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for planning, decision-making, and self-control. Every time you choose instant stimulation, you're activating the limbic system, the primitive, impulsive, emotional brain. These are competing systems, and whichever one you feed grows stronger. Choose distraction, the primitive brain wins. Choose discipline, the advanced brain wins. Over time, this changes your default. Discipline stops feeling like a battle. It starts feeling like your natural state. Here's what I want you to do right now. Not after this video. Right now. Think of the single highest source of empty dopamine in your life, the thing that requires the least effort for the most stimulation. You already know what it is. Now commit. Not forever, just 7 days. 7 days of creating distance from that one thing. Notice the restlessness. Notice when it peaks, usually day 2 or 3. Notice when it starts to fade. Notice what fills the space. And drop it in the comments. What's the one thing you're removing? Because the moment you name it, it becomes real. And the moment it becomes real, you can actually change it. Your brain built these patterns. Your brain can rebuild them. That's not optimism. That is neuroscience.